Adele, the mother, has just made a book recommendation. Okay, it's not recent, it's been a while, but she posted about it on her Instagram and the reviews also printed here. The review is wild. This book will shake your brain and make your soul scream. I'm so ready for myself after reading this book. Honestly, if someone gave this kind of review for my book, I would just tattoo it on my eyes because I don't think I need to see anything else in my life after such a review. I don't think anyone can top that. And hey, if it's good enough for Adele, it's good enough for me. Rewind. Did I just use the words Adele and me in the same sentence? Anyway, the book's name is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. I'm super excited for this one. Let's see how it goes. I'm 125 pages in. Oh, the next chapter is eyes. I get a lot of compliments on my eyes. Anyway, so this book is part self-help, part memoir. Glennon Doyle was cheated on by her husband because these hoes ain't loyal, but she ends up staying with him because of their 3 kids. But she ends up meeting a woman whom she might be in love with, and she also realizes that she's living a very unhappy life, and she decides to get divorced. And I think maybe that's why Adele also really related with this book, because at the time Adele posted about this book, I think she was going through her divorce or she had already been divorced.
What's my next album going to be based on? Divorce, babe, divorce.
I'm kind of liking the tone of this book so far. It's very fast paced. Every chapter is about 3 pages, which is great. I think that's how usually self-help books are. Glennon has a very specific way of writing, as in she'll take a metaphor or she'll take one concept and then turn that into an entire chapter. So the title Untamed actually is mentioned in the first chapter, where she sees an animal who's living in the zoo, and that just makes her very uncomfortable because she realizes that that animal is not in its natural habitat, and how that animal actually belongs in the wild. And and this then turns into a discussion how humans need to let out their inner wild and be released from their cages. So that's how the title of the book is, Untamed. And Adele mentioned in her review that you would want to have like a highlighter or some pen in your hand because you would want to highlight a couple of sections in this book. I completely agree with that, although I did not sit with a highlighter because it just irks me when people write notes or highlight sections in a book. I just feel like a book should be kept very pristine, very pure. But there are sections in this which are very hard hitting or just like written really, really well. I can't remember some of those sections now. I should have sat with a highlighter. Adele is right. Why did I think that I could outsmart her? But anyway, I'll mention those sections later in this video. Divorce, babe, divorce. What am I doing? So I finished reading this book, and what I did was I went ahead and listened to Adele's album 30, because it came out around the same time Adele published about this book. And there are so many parallels between this book and Adele's new album. Is it her newest album? Did she come out with any other album after that? I don't know. The song I think it's called My Little Love, is about explaining divorce to your kids, which is the very, very big theme of this book. And again, that song is beautiful. It broke me. Another song, I Drink Wine, is about all of the sacrifices that women have to make. And again, Glennon Doyle covers a lot of it in this book. So I can definitely see how this book might have inspired Adele to write those songs, or in general why Adele connected so much with this book, because she was going through the same things around the time she read this. But it's okay if you're not a woman or if you're not going through divorce, you can still read this book. Even if you're someone who's curious about parenting, you'll find a lot of themes and a lot of passages in here really relatable. I'll recite one of my favorite passages in the book about kids and when you give phones to your kids. There is so much about phones and children that I love this because this is so true about my generation and the younger generation. So we are so invested in looking at other people's life, or just consuming that much content that we've stopped like creating content. And by content, I just don't mean like social media. I'm saying actually picking up, picking up and reading a book, or again like going and painting and pottery or music. Like we don't actually go and do these things. But there were other times when I just felt like some conversations were really polished in this book. Like, did that really happen? And did you really feel like that? Like, so in the book, there are times when Glennon Doyle's kids would say something really profound, and Glennon would be like, "What? You said that?" Like, she would be like, "My kid said that." And then she would also come up with the most eloquent response to that, which makes me feel like there's so much pressure being a part of this family. Like, what if you're just going to Big Bazaar and your kid asks you the most life, the most existential question? I would leave that child in the parking lot. I'm kidding. I won't do that. So yeah, after that, the book just felt a little. But again, the book covers a lot of themes, and Glennon does a great job of making it very accessible, very easy to read. She's a great, great writer, and it's a very, very quick read. I think I finished in like 3 days. I think a lot of people will find a lot of comfort in reading this book, which is very important because sometimes you need to read a book by someone who's someone like you. Get it? There's a lot about self love in this book, which I think sometimes is just a bit too much. So definitely don't apply everything that's in this book, because otherwise you'll just seem like an ass, honestly. But definitely great read, and I can see why Adele was so heavily influenced by this book. So now I'm gonna go and listen to Adele's album on loop. If you enjoyed this video, please like it, please subscribe to my channel. It tells YouTube that you're probably enjoying content about books, and maybe you'll get to see not just my channel, but you'll also be introduced to other creators who are doing something like this, and it also helps us keep the lights on if you like and subscribe or comment on our videos. So thank you for joining me, and I'll be back soon with another weird celebrity book recommendation for you guys. Thanks. Bye. Divorce, babes, divorce.